sum that one up?
I think we've discussed this. Resolute is the best way to sum this up.
You work all week. Long hours. Need kip. Kids, family. Sometimes it just keeps you going. All week you're thinking about it.
But some people just don't get it, what it means. The walk to the metro.
Having your first pint in the pub. The walk up them stairs.
The flag displays.
The passion.
The highs. The lows.
We are here.
We are ready.
We are united. And we
are
back.
That's right, Newcastle fans. We are back. And my God, does it feel fantastic. I've just arrived in Newcastle for the first Premier League match of the season. And I tell you what, before we go into any of the football stuff, any of that good stuff, I just want to say, if there is one thing that I am grateful for more than anything else in this takeover, yes, there might be frustration over transfers, we might be going for Champions League ambition and trophies and all that, it is the fact that this week has felt like Christmas times 10, making content, excited to get up, not being able to sleep, bouncing out of bed this morning. This is all stuff that I've experienced more in the last 3 years, and that's one of the reasons the takeover has been one of the best ever things for this club and this city. And we start today with Southampton at home. Now, I haven't had time to do a match preview. There's no form on the first day, we know that, but I've just got this feeling, and I'll share this clip later in the video if it all goes badly wrong, that we're just going to have too much in the tank today. We saw it last season against Aston Villa. We've had a steadier pre-season against Girona at St James's Park last week. We were absolutely phenomenal. I know it's only pre-season, but we played with an intensity that you don't often see in pre-season matches. Joelinton's back. Gordon's been rested because he barely played at the Euros. Isak's had a nice steady summer. I'm just expecting us to come out all guns blazing against a Southampton team who got up in the playoffs. But, you know, they shouldn't be bringing too much for us to worry about today. And that's no disrespect to them. All I mean is we are the much superior team on paper. And the crowd are going to be up for it. I'm up for it. There's a buzz in the city. Let's start with an absolute bang. And I tell you what, this season is an opportunity. Chelsea signing every Tom, Dick and Harry that they can get their hands on. Tottenham maybe not investing where they need to and having to deal with European football. I'm just looking around us, and Newcastle have kept the same manager, the same core group of players, and we've got no European football to worry about, hopefully no injuries. This could be a massive season for us to basically go back to what we remember a year ago. Last season was not a failure by any means, but I think this season could be a really big chance to just get back to what we remembered. Home form, away form. Nick Pope even being back is huge for Newcastle because of the way he allows us to play. In terms of a sweeper keeper, he allows our defenders to step up a bit, allowing us to press a bit higher. I'm really excited. I am a little bit late. Shock. If you do want to check out the start to this video, that was from a video I've put on Facebook, Twitter. Can't share it on YouTube because of the YouTube police. So without further ado, let's get up to St James's Park for match day 1. And can I just say, it's nice to have you all watching again. I hope you are all well. Let's get amongst it.
Lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing.
I've just had to dive somewhere quickly before I head up to the match. So without further ado, I know you've all missed it. I know you've all really missed it. It's time for, yes, you guessed it, just the tune alone I know you've really missed. Some black and white banter, 24-25, stats. Stats. Newcastle United have scored in their last 19 Premier League home games. only between the January 1995 and the following year, 1996, have Newcastle scored in more, which was 24 matches consecutively. Let's make it 20 today, and let's make sure that I don't jinx us with these daft stats. Well, if I'm going to be the jinx, I may as well go all out. Southampton have only won one of their last 18 trips to St James's Park, so I really hope that's not the knife in the leg. The last time they won was under Ronald Koeman in January 2015. Steve McLaren days, I believe those were.
I sort of knew when I came here, and Champions League.
And just a little bit on the opposition, whilst I am confident today, Southampton actually had the highest possession out of any other team in the Championship last season, was 66%. They had the most passes in the final third, and they also had the most shots on goal on average per game as well. So this is a team that likes to play. We might have to prepare for that. If we allow them that, then it might be a tricky afternoon. Fingers crossed though, I'm still fancy us to blow them away. Right, slightly new for the 24-25 season. Not only am I bringing you Black White Banter stats, I'm bringing you some more random stuff that you don't care about. We are now going to play a little game called Theirs or Ours. Right, the rules of Theirs or Ours are quite simple. Every single match day, we are going to choose only home matches, not away ones as well, because obviously we play every team twice, so that would be a silly game. We are going to choose, you have to pick one player of theirs that would have to be swapped for one player of ours. It's going to be tricky. Some of the sides you might be thinking, no, I love absolutely every single one of these Newcastle players, and I wouldn't swap them. If you paid me £1 million, I wouldn't swap them. But that's what we're going to play. If I don't get killed in the process of recording this video, now I've come down this random quiet street. So, Southampton, tricky one. I am going to go for, I would swap Sean Longstaff for Will Smallbone. And I'm saying that, he gets his critics, that's not me jumping on that bandwagon. I think Smallbone looks a very tidy player, and I think he's one today that we could maybe keep an eye on. So let me know yours in the comments. You have to swap one of ours for one of theirs. Right, just outside Shevers, look at the queue to get in to watch the match. Only place you can watch it in the city. Team news has dropped. Livramento is in over Trippier, which I'm delighted about. I am no issue with Trippier, but Livramento for me is going to be the next World Cup squad. Delighted to hear and see that. I'm really late, but Joelinton, what a brick shit house he's looked in pre-season. Get in. Gordon, Isaac, Bruno. Oh, let's get into these. Of course, they've got Adam Armstrong up top, and if you're a Newcastle fan and you're not anxious about a former academy player being leading the line for a team coming to St James's Park, you are not a real Newcastle fan. So that's one to keep an eye on, but I'm still very confident. Now I've got to run up and try and get in on time. Away, Eddie Howe's Max. Let's get back up them steps again. Half time, 1-0. Don't really know how it's 1-0, and of course I missed the goal. And what I'm going to do all season is come down 5 or 6 minutes early, and we'll probably, if we lose in the first 30 minutes, we will probably be winning, because my record of missing goals because I've come down for a pint continues. So Joelinton, thank you very much. I absolutely love you to pieces, you brick shit house, but I don't love the fact that you've banged one in when I'm downstairs, stood in a sweaty queue for a beer. Right, just come out the stadium, just let things die down a little bit, my usual corner. If anyone ever comes to the match and doesn't know where I stand, you should know by now. It's right in the corner overlooking the Strawberry, my perfect little spot. Right, and I'm joined by, I need to mix my lines up. I normally say a very familiar face, I'm going to say something different. No, I'm not, I'm going to stick with a familiar face. I've had a brain fart there. Call Dog, haven't seen you for a while, first and foremost.
Yeah, as well. Australia.
Yes, yeah.
So, that's why there's special hats on.
Yes, exactly.
Cody, when you're watching this one, it's one for you.
No pressure on him to be watching it. If I don't get a comment, that means he doesn't watch it. Right, Colin, we got over the line. Sum that one up.
I think
First
we've
and
discussed
foremost.
this. Resolute is the best way to sum this up. That we defended like every man behind the ball. It was hard watching at times. I mean, when you go down to 10 men, there's 67 minutes to play. You just think, when are you going to collapse? When are you going to fold?
There's two things that can happen, isn't it? You either bend over,
Yeah.
or you really dig in.
And I
we
think
dug
they've
in.
done exactly that. They dug in very, very well. I think there was players today, and I'm not going to slate anybody off. There was players today just seemed to have had the ill effects of how much they'd done in the summer holidays.
Right.
They didn't seem to
Elaborate.
No, it's unfair to say that because we're only in the
You
first
can't
game.
tease anyone watching this by saying a
was
couple of players.
All right, I was disappointed with 3 players today. I was disappointed with Hall, I was disappointed with Anthony Gordon, and I was disappointed in Livramento. I just think that for the quality that they are, it just seemed they were lacklustre in their performance. And it's a bit cruel to say that, but that Southampton at times wanted that ball more than us. Your first half, at 11-11, we were trying hard like hell to get that ball off them. We seemed to play a better match defensively once we went down to 10 men. And again, using the word how resolute we were in that defence. And you said it as well, I'm going to steal it from you. The fact that Nick Pope played so well today. Yeah, and I loved the way when he was time wasting, went
Brilliant.
down on his knees and fall forward, hold that
Every
ball.
player goes over to speak to Eddie Howe as soon as he goes down.
It was brilliant to watch. But great start. I'm still in last man standing, which is a good thing, because I picked Newcastle, that's important.
Right.
It's worth $2,000.
Everyone watching this was on tender hooks, worried about your last man standing, so I'm glad you
I'm
mentioned
sure they're
that.
all going, don't give a shite. But yeah, it's start, we're back, and it doesn't feel like what happened being away.
So, first game of the season's always a funny one. We don't look into things too much. You know, like Man City could lose tomorrow, for example. I don't think they'd be panicking, as good a side they are. What have you learned from today, or are you not because of the circumstances of the way the game went? Are you not learning too much from today?
Wow, what a good question. Yeah, there's not too much to take away from today apart from the positive attitude they had of sticking in there and getting on with it, which is what we expect from them. And Eddie Howe instills that in. You can see that we lacked a couple of things today. I've alluded to, I thought both sides was a bit weak.
You have to keep that voice loud, mind me. You've got any microphone there.
Overall, we've got 3 points. So what am I complaining about?
Yeah.
I'm
In
not.
the circumstances as well, that's what you have to think.
I'm not complaining. I'm over the moon. We're standing here. We're talking about a win.
Yeah. Right, I'm joined by 2 very, very familiar faces. It's not the season unless I see these 2 fine gentlemen walking past me whilst I'm stood recording my random shite on this corner at the top of the steps. Both done in the new kits, by the way, which I'm all about. Love it, love it, love it. Right, gents, first question. I'll let you go. Whoever wants to speak first, try and sum what was probably an unexpected first game of the season, the way the match panned out.
Yeah, tough watch. Yeah, very tough watch. But we got it. We got the result. Grounded out. Like you say, 70 minutes with 10 men. I don't think we would have grounded out last season. So
Yeah.
Happy that we got the 3 points, but it was a hard watch.
The best team, like the best teams win. But I was just saying before, like we're complaining even though we've won. So like I would take this every game. As long as we win every game like that, I'd still take it.
Yeah. And was there much we could learn from today? Maybe probably more from a defensive point of view, to be fair. Or is it one of them ones where we're happy we've got over the line and we almost pressed the reset front of Bournemouth?
After the red card.
I'm happy we got over the line.
Yeah.
I thought Lewis Hall was poor today.
Yeah,
he
there was
gave
a
the ball
lot,
away
there
a few
was a lot of
times.
hype about him at the end of last
Yeah.
season. Loads of
And
hype.
I wanted him at left back more than Dan Burn.
Yeah.
But he struggled today, I think, a little bit. But
Did anyone stand out for you today?
Joelinton,
Yeah.
massively.
I'm, to be fair, I'm recording this. I'm asking questions on things we've just talked about, so I would have been shocked if you had said otherwise. He was absolutely
Class. He
all
was class.
over the shop.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
Absolutely brilliant.
Man, mountain of money was brilliant.
Any areas of concern? I know you talked about Lewis Hall, not necessarily individually, maybe.
I thought Isaac was off the boil a bit. He had nothing.
He's feeding off scraps a little bit. Though,
He
isn't he?
had not. And he didn't play during the summer, did he? So he should have come back fresh, really, and he was poor. I thought he
And
was
we
poor
were just
today.
talking about Anthony Gordon. Bit of an indifferent performance from him today.
Yeah, he was a bit off it as well, but we also said that he hasn't had much of a break, has he, really? So that could have been part of it. But
Southampton impressed you today?
we're good.
They were up for it.
So very good.
Yeah.
But again,
First game of the season, so they've got to be up for it, haven't they?
back in the Prem, you'd be a bit disappointed as a Southampton fan if your players weren't up for that.
Yeah.
I'll come away from the match a little bit. Massive conversation at the moment is the transfer window. Social media, as we know, is the devil, depending where you look. But as we get on with 2 weeks left, first question is, what is both your thoughts on the windows so far? Ignoring the fact it's still open.
Yeah.
Well,
so
nobody's
far.
went, have they? Which is good. I mean, Bruno's here, Gordon's here, Isaac's here.
Yeah.
I think Guy's a funny one because Palace wanted 65 million, offered them 65
You
million.
thought they probably was going to ask for 30 now the chair's been sent off.
No, exactly.
An extra 30, sorry, on top.
I think they, I don't know if they should walk away or go that extra 5.
Personally, I think they need to give up on it now. And if there was any truth in the AC Milan defender, maybe go for him, and then maybe Mbeumo on right wing. That's my view. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do put a fifth bid in for like 70 million.
So the question I'll just put to Colin, if we get Gay, which it sounds like we are very, very keen, and I think we might keep digging our heels in and going after him.
Yeah.
If we signed him and the window's shut,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts going into the season with the squad
I'd be
we have
happy.
with him
I'd
at
be
it?
happy.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
I think we've got enough. Last season was everybody seems to be we need to sign new players. Last season we had so many injuries. It was hideous.
Yeah, no, I
It
agree.
was hideous.
I do think
And
that gets forgotten about.
The squad's strong.
Oh, well, Newcastle, as I said at the start of this video, we don't do things the easy way, do we? Where do we start with that one? First and foremost, I've spoken to some fans there. Amazing as always, some familiar faces, which is why I love making these videos, to be back. We're back. And that's been the theme of today. And to be back with 3 points is the massive factor here. Now, I think I've been asking everybody there whether we learn anything from a match like that. Now, in my opinion, we do, because what we learn from that is exactly what I mentioned on the last interview. You can either bend over when you go down to 10 men after 30 minutes, or you can dig in and dig in hard. And we know that this team grafts their bollocks off. I thought last season, it's a very big statement to make, but last season defensively we were not at the races, and our record suggested that. And today I thought Southampton could have huffed and puffed for about 2 hours more of football if that ball had gone up with 2 hours for injury time, and they wouldn't have scored. I thought Kraft, when he came on, was brilliant. I thought Dan Burn was absolutely fantastic, leading us from the back. The fullbacks, I agree with the statements that have been made about the likes of Livramento and Hall. I didn't think they had great matches. Lloyd Kelly came on. He was brought on for his height because I think they knew Southampton were going to pump the ball in the box. He didn't put too much of a foot wrong. Now, whilst on that defensive topic, that's the positives, and I'll talk about a couple more in a second. Mr. Fabian Schar, look, I haven't fully watched the incident back. I am recording this as I've just come out the stadium. Fabian Schar is an experienced, if not you could argue the most experienced player in the Newcastle squad. He's a handsome lump of cheese, Swiss cheese, may I add, and he knows better than that. Look, was it pathetic? Was it absolutely embarrassing from Diaz, the long-haired prick? And I don't often say things like that on videos. Of course it was. But we know this sort of stuff goes on in football. And in the first Premier League match of the season, you've got one thing to do in that situation, Schar. Stay as clear as possible. If you want to have a bit of verbal, have a bit of verbal. He got involved. He gives the referee a decision to make, and he's off. And it's not great. Now we are down one of our, if not our best centre-back of the 4 that we have at our disposal. He's now missing for 3 matches. Does that put more emphasis on the Gay deal? That's another conversation for another day. But that was a really, really frustrating moment, and a one I think Fabian Schar will be embarrassed about, and I wouldn't be surprised in this social media age if it's one that he apologises for in the aftermath. But look, it's happened. Do we need to bring Gay in? Well, we'll find out whether we do, but we still have options in there to come in for the future matches. Now, that's the negatives over, the main negative of today's performance. And from there is 2 options, and I sound like a stuck record saying it, and a lot of teams, whether it's against a championship team in the FA Cup, a League One side, being down to 10 men for 70 minutes of the match is not an easy thing. It is, in fact, very, very difficult at this sort of standard. And I thought it could have gone either way. Joelinton, my mother of mercy, what an absolute shithouse of a performance that was from Joelinton. We have missed that man so much, and I honestly don't know whether Joelinton would be the same for any other club. I think he feeds into the crowd, he feeds into Eddie Howe. He's transformed at this football club, and just like he was against Girona, as I said at the start of this video, in the pre-season match, he was here, he was there, he was everywhere. Tackles, aggression, mopping up, energy, running, and of course a lovely little finish with his left foot into that bottom corner when we really needed it just before half time. Although I would have preferred it a little bit earlier so I could have actually watched it rather than queuing for a beer. And I thought he was my man of the match. It's between him and Dan Burn who I would give it to. He set the tone for what was a very resolute, hard-fought match where the new Adidas sleeves really were rolled up as tight as possible. And concentration is key. When Southampton are going to put ball in after ball in after ball in, concentration is key, and we had that in abundance today. Next up, I'm going to mention him again, how much we've missed Joelinton. And in that midfield, Bruno, who I thought was quiet today, by the way, he did what he had to do in the second half. He won us a lot of important free kicks by flopping himself around like a Brazilian fish. But Joelinton really is going to allow Bruno to push on a little bit. He can do a little bit of the donkey work, as it gets called, the Bruno. I'm not saying he's not an athlete, but him and Joelinton, in terms of their build, in terms of their athleticism, he can do a lot of that mopping up and allow Bruno to be a little bit more creative. My God, have we missed that man. And I think it's fair enough to say that we maybe do have more strength in depth, as we've just chatted about, than what some Newcastle fans think. Yes, we would have liked to see more players in this window so far, but there is still 2 weeks left. Last season, we did not see the squad that we started with because of a ridiculous injury crisis. Today, we had Trippier, who could have come on for Livermento. We had Kelly, who came on at left-back and slotted in, who can also play a centre-back. We had Asula, who we've just signed, who could have come on. He didn't even get a run-out. We had Joe Willock, who didn't get a run-out. Our squad is not too bad, and when Wilson comes back and Botman comes back, if you were to tell me tomorrow, yes, it would be frustrating because we know there is cash there to spend, as we've seen with the bids for Mark Gay, but if you were to tell me we weren't going to sign anyone, I wouldn't lose my mind about it. And it was just interesting to see that we brought players on, and some players, the likes of Willock, who's had a pretty good impact in pre-season, didn't even get a sniff. And I think that's something that we all need to rein ourselves in with a little bit and remember. And Tonali will be back in a matter of 2 weeks. Look, in any circumstances, you are happy to start the season with a win. The fact that we've started our season with a win, despite having 10 men for almost 70 minutes of the match, gives us so many positives going into the next game when it will be 11 versus 11. I saw some defending today and some really strong and mental attitude, physically and mentally, so organised, so disciplined, that maybe last season we didn't see enough of, and that's why we leaked so many goals. I'm going to say onwards and upwards. I'm going to say let's see what this transfer window brings, and I am going to say Newcastle United are back. And Mr. Diaz, if you're watching this, and I don't think you tune into Black and White Banter's YouTube videos, I hope you have a lovely trip home and get embarrassed tonight with your missus watching what was that comedic performance tumbling around in that first half. It didn't quite bring you the fruits that you thought it might. Eddie Howe's Mags are back, and we've started with a win. If you've liked this video, Newcastle fans, drop us a little like, drop us a little follow, and make sure you get Black and White Banter across all social media, where I have put my ring in the hat for the Football Content Awards. Oh yeah!